And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to stay consistent with your diet and workouts so that you can finally be successful and achieve your fitness goals. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the video. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to stay consistent with your diet and workouts so that you can finally be successful and achieve your fitness goals. And really, the main reason why I decided to make a video about this is because this is something I see time and time again that people consistently, no pun intended, struggle with. So many people who ask this question, they say something along the lines of, look, I know I should be doing this, I know I should be doing that, but yet I still struggle to stay consistent with it and actually get myself to do the thing. And keep in mind that this can be whatever it means to you, whether that's trying to stay on track with a specific diet or trying to get yourself to work out this many times per week. But if there's anything I've learned after working with many people, is that staying consistent is the most important predictor of success. It doesn't matter whether your goals are to build muscle, to lose fat, to do both, to build a business, to succeed in school, to basically be a better human being, or to accomplish any other goal in life. If you want to be successful in life, nothing will replace the good old-fashioned power of brutal consistency. And truthfully, I get it. Consistency isn't the most exciting or sexy sounding thing ever. It requires you to do the same thing again and again and again, no matter how motivated, how excited you are feeling on any particular day, week, or month. And if you ask any single successful person in the world, they're gonna tell you the same exact thing. They stayed consistent and put in the work day in and day out, whether they were feeling it on any particularly given day or whether they were excited or motivated to do it. Now, this isn't to say that you should be putting yourself through the grueling process of hating the process every single day and getting yourself to do something that you just absolutely hate and dislike and you don't look forward to doing, but there is going to have to be a certain level of grit that you have to put yourself through because you're not going to enjoy every single day. You're not going to be motivated every single day. You're not going to be excited to do that thing every single day, even if you're extremely passionate and motivated about doing it. But before I go into that random side tangent, let's get back on track with fitness. And with fitness, let's face it, it all boils down to basic psychology and actually getting yourself to do the things that you say you're going to do. Because let's face it, if I were to go out on the street and ask some random person, maybe including yourself, some random person who has stumbled across this video, what do you need to do to get healthier? Most people, including yourself, would probably know exactly what to do. You'd probably say things like eat more veggies, drink less soda, eat less takeout, cook more meals at home more often, go to the gym more often, do some cardio and hit some weights. Which for most people, this is a solid plan. And if they did at least half of the stuff that they say that we're going to do consistently, they would actually reap a lot of the benefits and results from doing that. Yet, why do so many people still struggle with this? They will stick to their plan for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever short amount of time, and then they give up after that. And really, the million-dollar question is, why do so many people still make the bad decisions for themselves even though they know it is bad and even though they know it is not the best for them? And it's exactly that question that we are going to dive into in this video. And hopefully by the end of this video, you are going to understand how to actually stay consistent with your fitness in terms of working out and dieting. Specifically, we are going to cover the questions of, are you actually ready to make a change? Next, we are going to discuss why people suck at making the good decisions they know they want to make, but they don't. And then lastly, we're going to cover the hacks or methods or whatever you want to call them to actually getting yourself to make those better decisions. So with all that said, let's dive into the inner mechanisms of your mind.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Firstly, we have to discuss, are you actually ready to make a change and stay consistent with your fitness? Because deep down, if you are truly not ready to make a change, then you are not going to go through the grueling process of changing a lot of other things around your life to accommodate this change. And to better help explain this point, I'm going to bring up the trans-theoretical model of behavior change. And you might have heard about this sometime, some point, somewhere in your life. Basically, this model represents all of the different stages we go through when we decide to make a change and ultimately whether we actually act on to make that change in our lives or not. And really, the cold hard truth about this is that some people are simply not ready to make a change. And of course, this isn't something that I can answer for you or your friend or your family member. This is something that you are going to have to answer for yourself. Because like I said, after having worked with many people, there are simply a small percentage of the population that's not ready to make a change. No matter how much they say they want to make a change or think they want to make a change, deep down, they are not ready to make a change, and that's completely fine. And again, don't get me wrong, this isn't something that is bad or wrong. This doesn't mean that that person is necessarily never ready to make a change, but it's just simply right now they are not ready to make a change because of certain life circumstances, because of certain things they are going on within their lives or within their own head that don't allow them to make this change right now. But it's just something that you have to kind of personally work through and wrestle through until the point that you're actually ready to take that dive and make that change. And maybe this is something you have gone through in the past with yourself or are going through right now. Now, I can't definitively say who is actually ready to make a change and who really isn't, but in my experience, people who are actually ready to make a change will say things like, I am absolutely tired of losing this weight and gaining it back and doing this again and again. I just want results that will actually stick. You know, I think I'm finally done hopping from diet to diet and not seeing the long-lasting results. I think I'm finally ready to dedicate myself to finding lifelong results. And also something else to know, a lot of people who want to make life-changing decisions, they often do it based out of fear. Whether that's the fear of living with poor health, the fear of not being there for their family, the fear of chronic disease, or the fear of not looking their best in front of their friends and family. The list goes on, and I have heard literally so many more reasons. And again, I do want to mention that this is just an example. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. Fear has sometimes driven people to make huge life-changing results that ultimately change their life around 180, and then they become the best version of themselves as a result of that. But with all this being said, I want you to ask yourself this one question, and I want you to be true to yourself when you answer this question. Are you really ready to make a change? Because you can do all the research that you want on the best tips and tricks with the best diets, have the best training program in the world, hire the best coach in the world, and follow everything in this article word for word. But if deep down you aren't truly ready to make a change, then none of this is going to happen. And ultimately, you hold the key to that question. So now that we have all that covered, let's go ahead and talk about why people suck at making the good decisions they know they have to make to stay consistent with fitness. Because like I said earlier, most people know exactly what to do. You probably know that it's not in your best interest to be always ordering takeout, drinking 4 glasses of wine every night, treating yourself every other night with dessert, and then of course letting yourself off easy when you don't feel like working out because you're just too tired. Yet, why do so many people do it anyways? Why are obesity rates the highest they have ever been and continuously climbing? Why are chronic diseases like high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes continually climbing and becoming the most prevalent than they have in the entirety of history? The answer is actually going to be quite simple and obvious when I say it out loud to you. It's that people choose to react with their immediate emotional response rather than their thought out logical response. And to help you better understand this, let me propose to you a possible scenario. You just got home after a long day of work. You had to wake up at 5 a.m., prepare breakfast, clean, shower, change, get dressed, and then make sure you had to make your commute on time to get to work by 7 a.m. Then once you get to work, you have to deal with the normal stressors at work. You finally get off and you have to make that same commute back home. You get home, you're tired, and you're just ready to chill and relax. At this point, the absolute last thing you want to do is pack your stuff, get to the gym, and work out. So in that moment when you were feeling tired and not in the mood to work out, you chose to listen to your immediate emotional response of screw it, I don't feel like working out, I'll do it tomorrow. And then of course now you have to think about what you want for dinner. After working all day, barely getting a chance to eat, having to make that same commute home, now you get home and you're tired and you're starving. Being that you're now tired and hungry, you think, pizza sounds good. This leads to a frivolous night of ordering a massive takeout meal and then eating enough of it to feed a family of 4. Next thing you know, you're feeling stuffed, bloated, and even more tired as the food coma hits. You probably have a bit of guilt mixed in there too because you just ate a bunch of pizza, which isn't known as the most healthiest option out there. And on top of that, you skipped your workout that you told yourself you were going to hit for sure today. And then of course, you finish off the night with a few more glasses of wine because why not? As you can see, this is how the night's going to turn out, all because of that one decision you made in response to that immediate emotional reaction. So how do we combat this? What do we do so that this does not happen to you? Using the power of psychology, we're going to use some hacks that not only temporarily trick your brain in the short term to making better decisions, but to actually help you build habits that help you make better decisions in the long run so that you can do this for the rest of your life. So the first hack, if you will, is going to be using something called the 10-second rule. Now, the main pitfall of listening to your immediate emotional response is exactly that. You immediately do the decision that sounds best in that moment.
But now!
So instead of immediately reacting to your emotional response, take at least 10 seconds to think it through.
Count to 10. Counting to 10.
And the first time I heard about this is specifically related to when you're about to go into a fight with someone. If you are super angry, wait 10 seconds before you actually say something, because this will actually give you time to think about what you're going to say rather than saying the thing that you really want to spew out in that moment. And we can apply the same thing to your diet and exercise decisions, because more often than not, reacting to our immediate emotional response isn't going to lead us down the best path in life. Think about every single thing you have achieved in your life ever. Think about, would you have succeeded in school if you listened to your reaction of, this is too hard, I don't want to study?
Nah, screw that.
Would you have gotten your current job if you listened to your reaction of, man, this interview is really making me nervous, I think I'm just gonna skip it?
Nah, screw that.
Would you have been able to afford that new car or house if you listened to every impulsive urge to spend money?
Nah, screw that.
And to kind of circle things back, in order to be successful with anything, you have to be consistent. And if you want to be consistent, more often than not, you're gonna have to make those hard decisions that require a logical, thought-out response rather than listening to that immediate emotional response. Because let's be honest, if all of us reacted to our first emotional, reactional urge to everything, this world would be a lot deadlier, dangerous, and lawless.
The lottery sucks! Only won $17!
And as we've seen in the previous scenario, this one emotional decision doesn't just lead to one possible outcome, it can lead to a cascade of outcomes just simply because of that one decision we made. That one decision of skipping the gym led to so many other poor decisions as a result of saying F it. I want you to stop and think, and rather than 10 seconds, let's kick it up a notch, give yourself 10 minutes to think about it. Rather than making the decision that will satisfy you in the moment, make the decision that will make you the most proud tomorrow. And really, in this 10 minutes, this is where the magic happens. Now, let's replay that scenario with this tweak in mind. The first part's gonna stay pretty much the same here. You just got home after a long day of work. You had to wake up at 5 a.m., prepare breakfast, clean, shower, change, and get dressed, and then make sure you had to make your commute on time to get to work by 7 in the morning. Deal with the normal stressors you have at work, and then you finally get off and have to make the same commute back home. You get home, you're tired and just ready to chill and relax. At this point, the last thing you want to think about is packing your stuff, heading to the gym, and working out. But in this moment, instead of listening to that immediate reaction of saying, man, I don't feel like it, I'll do this tomorrow, you stop and think. You ask yourself, what decision would make me most proud tomorrow? This time around, as much as you didn't feel like it, you packed your stuff, you went to the gym, and you crushed that workout. And this time, that cascading effect comes in again, but this time around, it doesn't happen the same way. You get home after crushing your workout, endorphins rushing, you're feeling accomplished and energized. You don't want these good feelings to stop and undo everything by ordering pizza. You want to keep the good vibes going. So you decide to cook yourself a healthy, nutritious, filling dinner. Now you ended up crushing your workout and your nutrition goals for the day. Rather than the previous episode of Netflix on your couch, devouring an entire pizza, and washing it down with a bottle of wine. So you see, just by making that one simple switch of stopping and thinking, of making the decision that's going to make you the most proud, led to so many other decisions that kept feeding that proud effect. But obviously, like everything else in life, it's easier said than done. If it were easy, everyone would be doing this effortlessly and we wouldn't have the problems that we face today. So know that it's going to be hard, it's going to take a lot of mental effort, and it's actually going to take a lot of time to develop this skill. It is extremely hard to remove yourself from the present moment, from your emotions right then and there, to make the best decision that's going to make you the most proud 24 hours from now. And I'm not telling you this because I want to discourage you, to sell you something, or to pitch my coaching services. I just want to set you up for success by providing you with realistic expectations.
Keeping it fresh, keeping it real.
I want you to know that even if you do every single thing right, it's still going to be struggle. It's still going to take a lot of effort and energy. You are still going to struggle and want to give up at times. But just like any other skill, the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. And the better you become at this, the more resilient you're going to become in the face of life's obstacles. And although yes, I truly believe that this skill is extremely important in being successful in your fitness journey, I truly believe that by learning and honing in on the skill, it will trickle into all other areas of your life and allow you to be successful as a person. Because when you're truly able to control your emotions, take a brief pause, and make it the next decision that you know is going to be best for you, you're going to be truly able to be 100% control in your life. Not to say that everyone truly has 100% control over their life, but realizing this and being able to hone in on the skill is going to open up your mind to realizing that you have so much more control over your life than you think. But with all that said, this isn't to say that emotions are necessarily a bad thing. Emotions are still a good thing. They allow us to form better and deeper connections with other people, allow us to empathize with other people's struggles, and of course, be human. But as with everything else in life, you can have too much of a good thing because you don't want too much emotions to be driving your life and decision making. We want a healthy balance of emotional based decisions and also logical based decisions. Second hack is going to be something I've learned called embracing the suck. Thankfully, I was instilled with this mindset as a kid by my parents. Being that they were first generation immigrants to the US, they wanted a better life for themselves and me, which means that growing up they didn't have much. Everything that they have today was a result of their hard efforts and work, which means that their journey was definitely not easy. They always kept me humbled for everything I have and to not take for granted anything. They also reminded me that my journey through life and earning the things I truly want won't come easy and it won't just be handed to me. They said something along the lines of the journey won't be easy and it will suck at times, but you just have to truly learn to embrace the suck. And early in my life, I didn't really understand this. I was confused and I thought I should be learning to love the sucky moments in life. However, as I grew older, I did understand the concept more. The more struggles and obstacles that I dealt with in life, the more I learned to understand this concept. Embracing the suck isn't necessarily about learning to love the sucky moments in life. It's about accepting that these moments are inevitable, and if you truly want to achieve what you want to achieve, then you're gonna have to remain persistent and get through them. Because let's be honest, nothing worth having in life will ever come easy. And truthfully, your journey in life is not going to be defined by your successes, even though this is what most people tend to look at and focus on, but rather it's going to be defined by your journey as a whole, where you went through those sucky periods and how you got through them. You can listen to all the naysayers, your inner critic, and give up, or you can embrace the suck, stay consistent, and realize that the journey is much more important than the destination. Because really, the journey is the actual part of the process where you learn, develop, and change. If you were just handed your successes, you wouldn't understand any part of that and you would have no appreciation for your success. And then this next point is not really going to be a hack of sorts. It's kind of related to point number 2, but it's going to be a side note discussion on something called delayed gratification. As the name implies, it's about your ability to delay gratification or putting off an immediate reward for a possible even bigger outcome or reward. But that reward is gonna come with more possible stress, patience, and general suckiness. In fact, there was a very famous experiment called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. This experiment set out to study the effects of delayed gratification and how this relates to success in life. I won't go into it too much, but in summary, the experiment had children who were offered a small but immediate reward in the form of marshmallows or pretzel sticks, or a greater reward of more marshmallows or pretzel sticks if they were willing to wait an extra 15 minutes. So this first experiment was cool and all, but what's even more interesting are the follow-up studies that studied this one. So researchers in follow-up studies found that the children who were willing to wait an extra 15 minutes for the greater reward would actually have better life outcomes such as higher SAT scores, educational achievements, health markers, and other relevant life measures. So while your ability to succeed in life isn't measured by your ability to delay gratification for marshmallows, this definitely showed a very insightful result for how delayed gratification plays a role in our lives. So ultimately, how does this tie back to your fitness journey? Well, if you've learned anything about your fitness journey, is that it takes an extremely high amount of delayed gratification to stick to your diet, to stick to your workout plan, to stay consistent and stay patient and ultimately be able to get bigger and more rewarding results in the end. And we can see this with those previous two scenarios that I mentioned earlier. You could run through that first scenario of not going to the gym and not sticking to your diet for the immediate reward of staying home and eating whatever your heart desires, or you go to the gym and stick to your diet and training plan because despite what your emotions say, you know that future you is going to be much more proud of you for making this decision because you'll receive a much greater reward of being, looking, and feeling fitter and healthier as a result of your decisions. So if you ever find yourself down this path and contemplating which decision to make, I want you to really dig deep, find out why you're doing this, and whether it's better to give into your immediate emotional response or think about your thought out logical response and then go from there. And that about covers everything I wanted to cover. And look, I know this is a lot to think about, but I really hope that this video was able to help you look inward, ask yourselves the hard questions so that you're ultimately able to stay consistent, stick to the process, and invoke change in your life. Because truthfully, after having gone through this process myself and with many clients, it sounds simple, but really is one of the hardest things to do in your life. Much, much harder than any single workout or diet you can think of. Because these concepts aren't simply following a plan. They require you to stop your first and instinctive emotional reaction and to really think about the next decision that you're gonna make. However, I can promise you that if you work hard to develop the skill, it is not only going to change your fitness journey, but it is going to change your life. And you don't necessarily have to apply the skill by doing anything crazy like cutting out all of the sugar in your diet or working out 6 to 7 times a week, because you really don't have to do either of those things if you want to get into better shape and health. You can always apply the skill by starting small and checking off those boxes and ultimately building that confidence so that you can make those bigger decisions. Whether that means having a few extra glasses of water a day, going on 15 to 20 minute short walks, or saying no to 1 or 2 snacks that you know you really don't need. With enough momentum, these small ripples can eventually become a towering wave. And again, this won't be easy, but it will be worth it, I promise. But that about wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more, and I will catch you in the next one.